something crazy just happened. Something insane, something crazy, someone no one expected. You guys remember Rushia from hololive? The VTuber who was acting like a girlfriend to her fans? Eventually, her fans found out that she had a boyfriend, and they were really angry. Now, there was a lot of controversy regarding the situation, but ordinarily, this would have blown over. A female streamer having a boyfriend isn't anything new. Normally, the controversy should have blown over. Unfortunately, Rushia went full Menhera and revealed and leaked information to a third party called Kore. And this streamer basically told everyone about what Rushia leaked in an attempt to clear her name. Obviously, Rushia's company hololive found out about the situation and they fired her. It's been a couple years since that situation happened, and now Rushia is in the spotlight again. So what happened is, not only did we find out that Rushia was actually married, he was also divorced. Rushia's ex-husband, Mafumafu, actually released an expose accusing Rushia of both slandering him and also mentally abusing him. The situation is crazy, the situation is bad, and everything is about to explode. I cannot put into words just how crazy this whole situation is. Before we take a look at Mafumafu's blog to see what he has to say, I want to stress that there are two parties in this situation. There is Mafumafu, the husband, and Rushia, the wife. We only know information from one party. We only know Mafumafu's side of the story. We don't know Rushia's side of the story yet. So take what you will hear from now on with a grain of salt. So this is the blog post that Mafu released his information on, and he has also released the expose in a magazine called jojoseven, and this is what it says. Now, this article on the blog was originally Japanese, and we had to use Google Translate to translate all of it. Careful with the interpretation of this article. Mafumafu would say, "Thank you for your help to his fans. I apologize for causing this situation again. I would like to talk about the reported issue of getting married and getting divorced, filing a lawsuit against the other person." He means Rushia or her reincarnation, Mikeneko. First of all, as mentioned in the article, I was originally married to someone. I am truly sorry for not being able to publicly announce this until now, and as a result, I ended up deceiving everyone. We started dating before the summer of 2021, registered our marriage at the end of December, and divorced in July 2022. I have never said a word before. The contents of this blog will be outrageous, so it may be painful or shocking for some people. I'm really sorry. I will also deeply apologize to everyone involved for any concern or inconvenience caused by this matter. I decided to tell the truth in order to avoid repeating any more lies. If you tell the truth, you may be sued. It may also cause trouble to many people. People may never listen to my music again. Mafumafu is actually a musician, thought everyone should know. May be hated by everyone, told that they don't want to see you again, and you may no longer be able to be happy. Still, I don't want to lie any longer. Above all, I don't want to live my life while deceiving myself, so I will talk. What I am about to write about is a summary of the events from that time to the present. It is quite a long article, so I recommend reading it only if you want to know the truth. I seriously cared about my partner, hereinafter referred to as Miss A or Ako. Until around the spring of 2021, I realized that I was no longer able to have so-called romantic feelings towards people. As I said in a magazine interview, I can't have love. I had given up on love and marriage. This is the person I met at such a time. She told me that she loved me for this reason. It might be different from the typical idea of love, but I thought it would be great if we could support each other and live together. There was a lot of opposition from close friends and people involved, but we pushed through that and started dating. And we got married. It is an undeniable fact that I was thinking about Miss A, that much. I have often thought about announcing the fact that I am getting married. Of course, this was a complete change from what I had said up till then. It is true that I was afraid to make it public. Still, we wanted to announce it openly, properly, rather than being known in a way we didn't like. However, at the time when she was registering, Miss A was also an influencer. Due to the wishes of Miss A and those involved, we were unable to make the information public. In the wake of a certain commotion, I thought I'd tell you everything. Unjustified false information is spreading. Slander is increasing. I have searched many times for the right time to reveal the truth, but due to many constraints, I have not been able to do so. While I was feeling exhausted under such an environment, I started passing each other with Miss A more and more. I don't know what he means by this. This is a Japanese to English translation in Google Translate. Please understand, everyone. At that time, every time I objected to something trivial, I was criticized. While I was repeating the days when I just cried and apologized, I started to believe that it's all my fault. Every day it felt pitch black, and I couldn't see anything. At the time, I was blind and didn't even know what normal was, so I decided to try to relieve Miss A's frustrations. I was only acting to avoid making Miss A angry. Every day, I sit in front of my computer, open Line or Discord, and immediately reply to messages. Even though I had over 100 interactions a day, I was still suspected of cheating, so I made sure that I was logged into the Discord server 24 hours a day so that they could monitor my actions. I tried to prove that I wasn't cheating on her, and even when I was sleeping, my phone kept ringing. Wow, so he couldn't even sleep while he was dealing with Rushia. Even if I think about it again, I still can't believe it. At that time, I accepted this situation as normal. Even under such circumstances, I was told things like, maybe you married for money, and I kept apologizing, not really understanding. I can't make decisions on my own. I don't know what to do. At that time, it was the words of a dear friend that saved me. I regained my senses. I finally realized that many of the words and actions I was receiving from Miss A were moral harassment. I realized that I couldn't continue to be a husband like this, so I started considering a divorce. At first, Miss A also expressed her strong intention, saying I don't want to get a divorce because I'm going to regret everything I've done up till now. I tried to find a way to resolve the issue without getting divorced, and I tried to improve our relationship. Originally, I had bought a new house so we could live together. I thought that if we could live together, I would be able to relieve Miss A's anxiety. However, as our relationship deteriorated in this way, we continued to spend time apart from each other, with Mrs. A staying at her new home and I staying at my rented apartment. Guys, that's kind of messed up. Like, he's living away from his wife. Crazy. Anyway, let's return to the blog. Shortly thereafter, Miss A has also started making repeated comments on social media that hint at her dissatisfaction with me. All of the content was very different from the truth, which led to criticism of me from third parties. Through my lawyer, I have repeatedly told her that I want her to stop making such comments. It never got better. In order to improve the relationship and stabilize each other's mental state, in order to put a stop to the continuing slander, I asked Miss A to at least make some of the facts public, correct any misinformation. However, Miss A's representative asked her to refrain from disclosing her marital status, her status as a wife, as it is time to restart her activities in a new way. My request was unilaterally rejected, and I never even tried to come to terms with it. Unable to bear Miss A or Aku's attitude, which was contrary to her words, I formally filed for a divorce through my lawyer, date May 2022. Thus, without being able to tell everyone the truth, we decided to enter into divorce negotiations through a lawyer. At the same time as filing for divorce, I myself was having trouble standing up, so I decided that I needed medical treatment. We decided to take a hiatus after our live performance at the Tokyo Dome. The decision to suspend our activities was a difficult decision that caused inconvenience to many people involved. Originally, by announcing the suspension and telling the truth, I was hoping that the slander that was spreading around the world would be reduced as much as possible. But due to Miss A's request, I could not discuss the marital status. I could not tell anyone about my wife. As a result, they decided to announce the hiatus only to inform them that they were recuperating from an illness. Along with the frustration of not being able to tell the truth, I also resented my own lack of ability. When divorce negotiations began, Miss A did not respond to the discussion, citing poor health, and was once again asked for money. So she's saying she was asking for money. While the negotiations stalled, it was discovered that Miss A had been having sex with someone else during our relationship, and in the end the divorce was finalized in late July 2022. with no money being paid to eat the party. After the divorce, after Miss A left, the new house was littered with so many cardboard boxes and garbage that there was no place to step or walk. Even the urn of Miss A's pet had been left behind along with the trash. I took his ashes home, and they are still placed high up in the living room so that he can rest in peace. I found out about Miss A's betrayal, my wife's betrayal, when I spoke with a certain man, hereinafter referred to as B-Man or Mr. B. For more details, I received screenshots of Discord and Line from Mr. B. Mr. B called me and explained the situation. Images Mr. B provided included an invitation to a date and an exchange about wanting to give a gift on Valentine's Day, December 25th, the day of registration, and the next day, December 26th. Miss A skipped her Christmas promise with me and asked me to hang out with her at the end of the year, and in May, when we were in the middle of divorce negotiations, he sent a message, Mafumafu, saying she wanted to get back together. Even invited Mrs. B, skipped her Christmas promise with me, and asked me to hang out with her at the end of the year. And in May, when we were in the middle of divorce negotiations, he sent a message to Mafumafu saying she wanted to get back together. I even invited Mr. B to share a room with me. I vividly remember being so shocked that I fell asleep. So basically what happened is Rushia invited Mr. B to share a room with her in the house. Getting so insane. Mr. B apologized again and again. Didn't seem to know what was going on. I assumed he was a victim and settled the matter. Now Mr. B and I are on good terms. That wasn't all. Even during the divorce negotiation, I was receiving various forms of harassment from Miss A and third parties on social media websites and various anonymous bulletin boards. There are also posts that suggest that I was engaging in domestic violence or cheating with multiple women. There were many accusations, but of course, they were not facts but lies. Even during my hiatus, I was repeatedly harassed and was unable to reveal the truth. Days passed when only misinformation and slander increased. At least as a form of resistance, I want to reduce the slander as much as possible. I decided to request information disclosure from an anonymous bulletin board. As a result of the information disclosure request, the court recognized the illegality of the slander and the request was granted. As mentioned in the article, it was discovered that most of the posts were written by Miss A. Oh, that's crazy. Like, Rushia was bad-mouthing her husband. Oh my god. There was a lot of slander. One particularly cruel comment was, Mafumafu killed Miss A's pet cat by hitting it against the door. Miss A's cat was an old cat, was blind in both eyes when I met her, and she was very attached to me. I also have 2 cats and take very good care of them. There's no way I'd do anything that would hurt an animal. I had no idea how they could come up with such a story. I have been active for over 10 years, and it has been a daily occurrence for me to receive slander. I think that if I were to be my traditional self, I could have tried not to worry about it. However, Miss A has always made statements against slander. If the person who said such things was hurting people by registering as a paid member on an anonymous bulletin board, I thought that I could not overlook this. If the case goes to trial, you will be able to attend the hearing and everyone will be able to receive correct information. I were to share the facts online without any context, it could be my fault. In a legal setting such as a trial, he or she makes the most correct decisions. Therefore, I decided to take the case to trial, even though I was prepared for everything to come to light. A civil trial is currently underway against Miss A, her of slander. Also, last year at the end of summer, I consulted the police and they spent 8 hours preparing a report. A record is a document prepared by a detective after investigating a case. Miss A was also summoned, and it has been confirmed that the documents were successfully sent to the prosecutor's office at the end of last year. I think people are thinking about how they will act. It may be a lame excuse, but everything will come to light once the civil or criminal trial progresses. So I was thinking of telling the truth at that time. Lastly, the trial will continue, and I believe that the time to speak will come in the future. There were so many things that I couldn't fit in the article. I only wrote about things for which I had clear evidence. I don't think I've been able to tell you enough, but I've always kept it hidden in my heart. I'm glad that I was able to talk to you like this. Every day for 2 years, I wanted to die. As mentioned above from Miss A, may find yourself saying something unreasonable or being exposed to nonsense. I'm sure we'll reach a conclusion if we fight properly in a legal forum, though I'd be happy if you could just ignore it. Also, whatever the circumstances, it doesn't change the fact that I was lying to the viewers who supported me, who supported Mafumafu. It is not my fault, and I guess he's saying it is my fault, and I will live with that feeling for the rest of my life. Really sorry. And finally, I may be selfish, but I hope that by publishing this article, as many slanderous comments as possible will be eliminated. Thank you for reading this far. Mafumafu. And that was a really messed up story, guys. If what Mafumafu says is true, Rushia really messed up the situation. Like, she was the wife. She basically screwed over her husband. For what? Still, we can't come into a conclusion yet. Can't decide what has happened yet because we have only heard about Mafumafu's side of the situation. Mikeneko, the wife in this situation, has not responded. We'll have to wait to see what she has to say. Anyway, that's the end. Thanks for coming by.